Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of the Rush Hour podcast. Well, they're coming for you. The PR campaign is in full effect. Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni is now coming after mothers. That's right. Glamour is bashing moms, specifically mommy sleuths. The idea that maybe women don't have anything else going on in their lives, so they're investigating this story for their own gossip. Well, that's one sinister way to look at it. I'm going to read the article for you. We'll discuss, and I've got content coming for you all day long. There's actually tornado warnings here in Nashville, Tennessee, so I will be recording until I'm in the bunker, the family bunker. That's right. So speaking of natural disasters, how about this story? I mean, could it get any crazier? So let's get into it. Let's just dive right into it here. Inside the Blake Lively hate campaign fueled by mommy sleuths. The death of MeToo and embrace of patriarchal ideals isn't coming from politics. It's coming from women online. By Stephanie McNeil, March 14th, 2025. Last weekend, Blake Lively appeared at South by Southwest to premiere her new film, Another Simple Favor. It wasn't a particularly noteworthy event. Lively walked the red carpet, took photos with fans, attended the screening, and participated in a Q&A. Well, I would say that it's noteworthy to the extent that it was her first real live appearance since all of this nonsense came out. The event marked the first press event Lively had done since December, when she filed a legal complaint and eventually a lawsuit against her former co-star Justin Baldoni, alleging he harassed her on the set of their film It Ends With Us. Lively also alleged that faced with the possibility of his career being impacted by her claims, Baldoni and a crisis PR team he hired waged a misogynistic smear campaign against Lively using the power of the internet. Baldoni soon countersued, and the pair kicked off an exhausting and protracted war against each other. Despite the drama surrounding the case, Lively's appearance at the festival ultimately was pretty standard stuff. That is, unless you have been obsessively watching videos from the bevy of mostly women content creators who have declared themselves experts in the 37-year-old star's legal battle. If you are, then Lively's appearance in Austin was rife with hidden meaning, clues, and intrigue. I guess, by the way, I'm one of those mostly female content creators. Well, I got the hair for it, you know. Maybe it's Maybelline. Take Lively's outfit for the event, a Renee Masumian latex dress with a matching short-sleeve coat. The star wore the coat before walking the carpet, then took it off to pose for photographers. The meaning, the creators say? She's an unbearable narcissist, delusional enough to think that a costume change was warranted for a simple premiere. Or take her action on the carpet. She posed with her co-star, Italian actor Michael Marone. But it was much more nefarious than it appeared. According to lip readers consulting by those so-called experts, Lively made an inappropriate joke about her braless dress, causing an embarrassed Marone to quickly look away. Call me crazy, she does this on purpose, both to enrage her husband and torment these terrified men, wrote one person about the moment. So here's the issue, right? You're cherry-picking some haters online, and when there's something like this crazy Blake Lively story, there'll be so many people online offering their discourse that you can make it look as if everybody online is offering just an insane take. So it already, to me, and again, I haven't even read this beforehand because I wanted to give my honest thoughts, but already to me, this article is kind of trying to discredit people because there will be fodder of, discussions and, people looking for clues. I mean, that's going to exist. People are still trying to figure out if the moon is flat. It's not. But they're still like, well, if you look at the shadows, it's really Arizona. They filmed in Arizona. They used Tarantino filmed it, and that's why he's part of. People. That's what they do. They're crazy. People online can be crazy. But it doesn't mean that the content creators aren't doing great work uncovering this story. And those smiling fans that Lively took photos with before the screening, fake, say the experts, hired by the actress herself. In fact, one fan seen taking photos with Lively, they claim, is actually the wife of the film's director, Paul Feig. Pathetic, one person on Twitter sneered. In actuality, they say the carpet was not filled with fans, but protesters holding signs outside the theater in support of Baldoni. According to one, Lively was terrified to walk the carpet at all, and her co-star Anna Kendrick hates her. This specific claim was debunked by Feig, but it didn't really seem to matter. Well, just because Feig says that that's not true isn't debunking, okay? That's just an opinion of someone who doesn't want their co-stars to have a PR issue, when they're premiering their film. And by the way, that person was Paul Feig's wife. So It really was. So they had a separate area for close friends and family, call them hired or not. I don't know if they received any money, that were vetted people. So someone doesn't throw a can of paint at Blake or whatever people do in protest. But the conspiracy theories, rumors, and criticisms tied to Lively at the Another Simple Favor premiere pale in comparison to the theories this group of obsessive have been circulating widely online since Lively's legal battles against Baldoni began. While some men are jumping on board, the most popular of these creators, which range from nobodies doing voiceovers to far-right provocateurs like Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly, are women speaking to other women. Owens even coined a term for her audience who spends their free time investigating Lively's alleged bad behavior via TikTok in order to ruin her reputation, mommy sleuths. So that's where they're at. And, wanting to jump in the battle here, here's a mommy sleuth shirt. I made up some mommy, and I don't choose the models for them. They're all AI designed, but you can get your model sleuth shirt in many different colors there. They come in pink. There's a lot of mommy sleuths that want to, see in pink, but I'll post a link in the comment section if any. I don't think we're trademarked, right? And this isn't trademarked. Anyone can be a mommy sleuth. So there it is. You can get them in different colors and t-shirts and mugs. You can look at that, and they ship in a couple days. Okay, anyway, let's continue. Why not? Get in on it. It's a great time to be alive. So anyhow, they continue. Here's just a few examples. Lively has been accused of lying about her relationship with her deceased Gossip Girl co-star Michelle Trachtenberg to get sympathy for her legal case of sexual breastfeeding in order to trick Baldoni into looking at her breasts. That, by the way, that's an insane one. I haven't heard anyone accuse her of sexualizing breastfeeding at all. She's the one, I guess, who sexualized it by accusing him of, copping a look, right? One creator diagnosed Lively with a delusional obsession with a character she plays called immersive identity disorder. They say she's a narcissist, has profound mental health issues, and is a liar. And it's only these citizen detectives who are brave enough to report the truth. Watch these videos long enough and you could believe there's an entire pro-Lively cabal controlling the internet, suppressing any content that dares criticize her. The creators have claimed that Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, is watching all their videos and working to personally scrub the content from the internet with the help of Lively's new crisis PR rep, Nick Shapiro, who once served as deputy chief of staff for former CIA director John Brennan. The implication is that he is doing so by harnessing the power of the American spy agency. I don't think so. I don't think anyone's claiming they're using the CIA. People are just saying, well, she's hired her crisis PR, and in part, is this a product of that? In one way or another, it's kind of like a mainstream media organization calling people crazy because they are onto a lot of the antics. I assume they are working on strong-arming citizen journalists to stop speaking on the case, wrote Ashley Eve, a self-proclaimed citizen journalist, on Instagram about Shapiro. What just blows my mind is how platforms can promote free speech then give in to bullies like this. What we are seeing in real time is how people with money and power manipulate headlines, Google, and social media apps to feed you a very specific narrative. I'm just going to say it. This isn't normal, and it's about more than just Blake Lively. Since MeToo exploded into public consciousness in 2018, an online war has succeeded in erasing many of the gains made by the movement. If those against MeToo can't stop famous women from speaking out against assault, abuse, or harassment, they can apparently slowly erode their credibility until they are pariahs. The target of such an unrelentless campaign of hate and misogyny that their public image is incurably damaged. The hardest part of this to swallow is that women, mostly civilians, are the ones falling deepest down this rabbit hole by being convinced by TikTok to turn on one of their own. This whole one of their own, that's the thing, right? No one feels like it's one of their own. We're all humans. So that exactly explains the fury that people have, is that you're trying to make it one of their own as if it's a union of women versus men. How about a lot of these quote-unquote mommy sleuths possibly have sons, and they don't want their sons to be falsely accused of something, or daughters. They don't want anyone. So it's about justice and getting it right. It's not about gender. And I think if you call out the people that possibly lied or got it wrong, it strengthens the belief in other people because you know that at least when someone's wrong, people are calling it out. Does that make sense? Don't hide the people that are faking it, if that's what's happening. Me Too is an attempt to change the narrative to believe women when they say they have been victimized by men without caveat. I wouldn't say without caveat. You believe women and then you look at the evidence. I think that's fair, right? It was an effort to shed the idea of a perfect victim, to accept that a woman can be physically assaulted no matter how powerful she may be. But less than a decade later, it's never been more dangerous to accuse a high-profile man of abuse. Lively's reputation is in tatters. Amber Heard, whose case has been compared to Lively's, faced such unrelenting online torment when she battled her ex-husband Johnny Depp in court over allegations that she left the country. Oh boy. As time goes on, the creators who made a name for themselves by becoming experts in both cases are only growing more powerful and emboldened. It doesn't feel like an accident that the path they are leading their new followers down goes straight to the far right at a time. Oh boy, they brought in the far right at a time when women's rights are as precarious as they've been in decades. Take Jessica Reed Krause, the former mommy blogger known as House and Habit online. Krause began posting pop culture blind items and tea about Armie Hammer and eventually about Depp vs. Heard, becoming one of the most prominent citizen journalists covering the case. She's since parlayed that viral fame into a new life as a far-right provocateur, wholeheartedly embracing Trump, RFK Jr. during the 2020... Okay, I don't know anything about House and Habit, so I'm not going to pull focus away from what we're talking about here. What I do is designed for a woman who would never really pay attention to politics. My audience is 96% women. So then they go into Candace Owens. Again, there's going to be no mention of me or progressive journalists, right? There's going to be no mention of that. And this is the problem. When you have a case that's this big, you can cherry pick and find the people that you think are the ones that are, making this about something that it's not. You better pay attention because she's about to be retried. Okay, so they just, they go on and on. What does this say here? Where did these people come from? Why are they being given Pulitzers? It would be easy to dismiss the ever-growing hate campaign against Lively as a pet obsession of pop culture aficionados. Maybe a little weird, but ultimately just a harmless piece of celebrity goss. But we don't live in a vacuum. Instead, we live in a world where women's reproductive and civil rights are under assault by far-right misogynists who'd love to see our privileges dismantled. Where a convicted assaulter is the president. All right, so here, okay, just so you know, they're making it so that if you don't believe Lively, you're also assaulting women's reproductive rights. That's the argument. Well, we live in a world where all these things are being taken away from people, privileges dismantled. If you don't believe Blake Lively, you're just as bad as them. That's what she's telling you. And if I'm generalizing, my apologies. Apparently, the author says we can generalize. I'm just playing their game. This is the same world where a woman, even a powerful actress, faces the complete destruction of her reputation by online mommy sleuths for daring to accuse a man of harassment. Lively isn't the only person who this harms. Once you dehumanize one woman, you can dehumanize them all. And this impact is far greater than any celebrity legal battle. Stephanie McNeil is a senior editor for Glamour with more than a decade of experience covering pop culture. I would love to interview Stephanie McNeil just to push back on what they don't get into, right? They cover the general mommy sleuth aspect of, well, if you don't believe Lively, you're tearing her down the way you tore down Amber Heard. You're putting everything into the same box, and that strips away the uniqueness of every case, right? When you water everything down to be the same thing, it's us versus them. Very easy to do, and then you get stuck in it. And if you're a woman, you read this and you go, well, if it's us versus them, I want to be with us. I'm for reproductive rights. Well, newsflash, breaking news. I'm for reproductive rights too. And I, so far, having covered this case, think Justin's going to win over Blake Lively based on the evidence I've seen. That's just me, Dave Neal, Daddy Sleuth. I got another video coming up. There was a big document released last night regarding the New York Times and Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's attorney. Justin is now taking on the last name Friedman. Justin Baldoni Friedman. Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, power attorney, has released a scathing response to the New York Times trying to dismiss themselves from the case. I'll be sharing that next. Link in the comment section if you want to buy a Mommy Sleuth t-shirt.